it wasn't extreme whatsoever. It was just consistency. Like if you do things right day after day, don't look at things too long term, if that makes sense. So for example, say you're someone who wants to make a change today, and the change that you want to make is you want to start eating a bit more healthier. Then eat more healthy today. Don't think, can you keep this up for years and months or weeks? I've gone through two fat loss journeys. On one of them, I lost around 30 pounds of fat, and on another one, I lost more than 20 pounds of fat. And on both of them, I ate my mum's cooking every single day. There was no fancy meals, no fancy diets, no meal prep boxes. It was just a normal South Asian, and in particular an Indian diet. And here's how I did it. If you're brown like me, you know the struggle. The food is very nice, but the thing is, the food is also very heavy. It's very carbohydrate based, and it's also full of seed oils. In particular, things like too much bread, too much rotis, too much curry, too much rice, biryanis, and obviously seed oils. Every meal is something which you would eat at a celebration, something which you would eat at a wedding. When I first tried losing weight, I thought I had to give all of it up, but the truth is you don't. Now, as I said before, I lost weight twice. The first time around, it was about 30 pounds, and the other one, which was in about 2021, I lost more than 20 pounds, and both times I ate what my mum made. The only difference was how I ate the food. Now I asked her to cook the same meals but just with less oil. But the thing with this was, because my mum was cooking with my family and I didn't know too much about seed oils at that point, what I did was, when she would give me the bowl of food, like the dish she was serving me, I would pretty much drain out all the oil and just eat whatever the dish was. Even if it was dry or whatever, I would still eat it. If it was, most of the time it would be dry chicken, and I would have less carbohydrates. So the roti, whatever you want to call it, I would only have like half of what I was used to and have more protein. And in general, what I did was I started having more protein in general. I learned how to cook this protein pancake recipe, and most of the time, I wouldn't say for breakfast, because sometimes most of the time I would be fasting. But on certain days when I wasn't fasting, I would have this protein pancake breakfast, and it would basically give me around 40 or 50 grams of protein straight away in the morning, first thing. Or if I wasn't having it in the morning, I would have it around 5-6 o'clock, depending on if I was training or if I was resting. But I started having less carbohydrates and more protein, just in general. Even if my mum basically, she didn't make like a meat dish, something like chicken or fish or like red meat, I would basically ask her to make me some wraps with this like frozen chicken. We had, looking back on it, it was definitely some kind of processed meat, but in that moment you're still getting in extra grams of protein. And when you're used to having so much carbohydrates, so many carbohydrates, and you switch to protein, even though it may not be the cleanest protein source, it makes a massive difference on your physique. So the practical tweaks I made was, I had less seed oils, I had smaller portions of rice or roti, and I added a protein source to pretty much every meal. Whenever I could, I would. If I would add eggs, I would just basically try and eat a meat dish every single time. Or if I couldn't, then I would make the protein pancake recipe, and that had a massive, like, basically it would give you a lot of protein in a very good and tasty meal. And if it wasn't, say for example, I would also make this, it was a spinach drink. It was basically a green shake, and it was nice as well considering the ingredients. But I would have that as well, and it would basically give me a lot of protein, even though I wasn't getting in maybe the optimal amount for my height and my weight. But at the time, because I went from like maybe 50 grams, 60 grams, whatever it was, to like now 100, 110, 120 grams of protein, it made a massive difference. And another thing I did, a practical tweak, which I think massively aided me, was I started sleeping at the same time every night. And even though it was coronavirus or whatever, I was still sleeping at 2 a.m. But the thing is, it was 2 a.m. on the dot, and 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. I was still getting good 8 hours of sleep. But the quality of sleep was very, very high. Like, there was times in my life where when I first started working, I started sleeping around, I think it was around 11 a.m. And I would go to sleep at 11 a.m. I would wake up at around 7, half 7. So I was actually getting 8 hours, maybe even more than 8 hours. But I just felt horrible. I absolutely felt horrible. I had no energy. I was just tired all the time. Like, when you go to school after a long break and you feel like a zombie. You're like, what am I doing? I didn't have any sleep the night before. But I don't know why, but me going to sleep from at 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. made a massive difference. Another thing I did was I went out in the sun every single day. Like, I tried consciously going out into the sun. Even if it wasn't sunny outside, I would get some sunlight in my eyes. Ideally in the morning as well, because that helps your circadian rhythm, it helps your testosterone, it just regulates your hormones, because it tells the brain that when you get sun in your eyes, okay, this guy is awake, this guy is active, he's in the sun. And then by around like however many hours later, the body knows, okay, this guy's he woke up at, say you got in the sunlight at 9 a.m. The body will know around like 7 8 p.m. They're like, you know what, this guy, he's going to go sleep soon, because he was out in the sun early in the morning. And the thing is, it regulates your mood, it regulates your hunger, and it regulates your hormones, because in the morning you have more energy, and during nighttime you kind of wind down naturally. You don't have to do anything crazy, but you just naturally wind down. And another thing I did was I walked a lot more. I have a treadmill on the garage. I've got a walking pad there, but I had a separate treadmill in my home gym on the garage, and this was before I had that walking pad. But I would hit my workout at home, and then I would just walk. Because I thought, you know what, I've got this treadmill, I've got this home gym, let me just walk so much. And I would put on a little anime episode on the treadmill, and I would literally just watch and walk for ages. And then also on top of that, me and my friend would basically go out and basically just relax and talk and walk in the sun, because it was coronavirus, and at the time we didn't have a car. So we would basically do that. We'd go do some shopping or whatever, and we would just get in a lot of steps, a lot of sunlight. And the thing is, it wasn't extreme whatsoever. It was just consistency. And the thing with this is, I think if you look at everything from a small, like, if you do things right day after day, don't look at things too long term, if that makes sense. So for example, say you're someone who wants to make a change today, and the change that you want to make is you want to start eating a bit more healthier. Then eat more healthy today. Don't think, can you keep this up for years and months or weeks? Just focus on what you can do today, because as long as you do that, you will basically build consistency will snowball your momentum, and when you have momentum, you'll just become disciplined. Now, looking back, there was one thing I didn't realize I was doing, and I started seeing myself differently in my mind's eye. I stopped seeing myself as the old version of me, and I started picturing how I wanted to look. Like, for example, when you're overweight, when you're fat, when you're unhealthy, when your skin's not good, when whatever problem you have, right, you kind of see yourself as the person who is fat. Like, you're the fat guy, you're the guy who's got acne, you're the guy who's I don't know, whatever problem you have, right? And then as soon as you start seeing yourself as this new and improved version, let's just say you're the 2.0 version of yourself, for you to become that 2.0 version of yourself, you need to basically see yourself as the new version, as the person who no longer identifies with his previous identity. Does that make sense? So you no longer identify with being the fat guy, the ugly guy, the guy with skin issues, the guy who's slow, the guy who's not good at talking, the guy who's quiet, the guy whose diet's horrible, the guy who always messes up. As soon as you start seeing yourself as the new version in your mind's eye, right, you just have to visualize yourself being this new person. That's where everything starts. It sounds very, like some gypsy nonsense, but it's not. It's absolutely spot on. And without you even imagining yourself, there's no way you can make that change, in my opinion. Because self-image is where it starts. When you start believing you're the person who eats better, moves more, takes care of himself, you start acting like it. And then it's only a matter of time before your imagination is reflected in the 3D. So no, brown food isn't the enemy. You don't have to reject your culture or anything like that to lose fat. You just have to respect your portions, respect your body, and make a few smarter swaps. Yeah, you can keep the spice, keep the flavor or whatever, but just control the oil that you're eating and the carbohydrates, and make sure you're getting in loads and loads of steps. And the practical things you can do is, instead of eating the seed oils, especially if you're a brown guy, just eat ghee. Ghee is so much better for you, it's so much tastier than the seed oils that you're consuming, and it's just not poison for your body, because when you eat seed oils, it will basically corrode your body, it will rust your body. It takes 600 days to pass through the body. It's very, very inflammatory, and it's just not made for human consumption. The thing is, the reason it became something which people consume or whatever, it's simply because it was cheap. It was cheap, and they started manufacturing it in food. And if you pick up any piece of food items that you see in the grocery store, it will definitely have some kind of seed oils. It will have some kind of sunflower oil, palm oil, rapeseed oil, corn oil. There's so many seed oils, but something which you need to do, which will basically keep your body in good stead, is swap out these seed oils. If you don't do anything, if you take one or two things from this video, just take that you need to swap out the seed oils and just consume more protein. That in itself will have a massive impact and the highest ROI on the things that you're doing at the moment. You might think to yourself, you know what, how do I you might be researching this very niche thing that you think might give you an edge, but the thing is, you need to be doing these simple basic things, and those will give you the massive and quickest ROI. And make sure you get that daily walking as well. You want to aim for around 8 to 12k steps. I read somewhere that 10k steps is complete nonsense, and to be fair, I agree, because some guy just came up with it. I think it was to market running shoes or walking shoes or whatever. Yeah. So what worked for me, as a quick recap, boys, is basically lifestyle stacking. Eat real food, don't fry anything as well, sleep at a consistent time, get sunlight in daily, and walk more. And most importantly, see yourself as the person who's already doing it or who's already there. And if you're a brown guy trying to get lean without giving up your mum's cooking, that's literally what I help guys to do in my free school community. We've got nutrition guides, training, recovery, cooking tips, and I go live every single week to answer your question. The link's in the description below. Come join me, it's free, and it might just change how you see yourself too. If you enjoyed this video, then I think you'll enjoy the one on the screen right now.